Doesn't take much to make me happy. A little hot chocolate.
Is that true? Is that a true statement?
I mean, I'm excited about this hot chocolate,
Okay.
so that's not a lot, I guess. Ah, okay. What do y'all want to talk about?
You've been pleased the last couple of days with what you've seen?
We had a better one today than yesterday. I thought yesterday was kind of, I don't know, a little sluggish. I mean, it was kind of misty out there and a little bit wet, but I don't know, I just didn't think it was as clean. But, you know, you're still installing things on Tuesday. And for the first time, scout team getting used to what they're trying to simulate. So I guess it's not all that unusual that Tuesday's not as sharp as you like sometimes. But I thought today was real good. The energy level was very good. I thought our scouts did a really good job. And we competed at the end, past skeleton 11 on 11. I thought that was very good. A lot of good energy at the end. And they know it's the last day of any kind of physical contact until Saturday. In shorts tomorrow, shorts and helmets. And I think they were excited about moving into the next phase of the week.
Jarvis Jones got a All-America award today.
Good.
The second year of the AFCA. Imagine more will be coming his way. Could you just talk about his? It's been an interesting season for him. He's missed a couple of games and went through a couple of options, so he wasn't able to do a lot. He's known as a pass rushing specialist. Is this a game and a situation, a venue where he seems to have played big in big games for you?
Well, that's been I think that's helped him the most. Is he has played really big. He played really big in the Missouri game, and as far as just kind of a monster stat day, and in the Florida game was really almost a whole season in one game as far as statistics go. And plus he already had a reputation of being a really good football player. So I think all that helped him. But you're right, I think playing the two option football teams at the end made it very difficult to get a sack, and really the position he plays, unless you're a middle linebacker, it's tough to make a lot of tackles against that kind of a scheme, that kind of team. But he's had a good year and great career so far.
What do you expect Mitchell and Swan, we saw them in green, do you expect they'll be okay?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they'll both be fine. We just didn't want to irritate whatever was bothering him. I think Swanee was his neck a little bit. I think Malcolm's I think it was more shoulder. I don't remember. But if we played today, they both would have played. It wasn't an issue of that, but we just didn't want to light it up at all and let it heal as best we could.
As you get closer and closer to Saturday, do you sense the players just kind of getting more and more excited as you go along?
I saw it at the end of practice today. I think they were starting to feel it, so it's good. You want to be careful not to play the game midweek. I've been on some teams where you got so excited midweek, you got emotionally tired by the time Saturday showed up. So I don't want them to get too emotional right now. I want them to keep, like I've been saying, staying in the moment and focusing on the process and not let their minds go too far ahead. But you can tell they're starting to feel it.
Have you done anything to kind of combat that? I mean, to make sure that is the case when they stay?
Just talk about it every day, before practice, after practice. Remind them of what's really important. What's important is trying to get better every day, every play. Trying to focus on your job, and trying to focus on. Again, don't focus on the outcome of the game. Focus on the process of preparing for the game. So that's what I've been trying to talk to them about.
What are some of your biggest concerns as far as your true freshmen go, like Gurley and Keith and maybe some other ones will be playing in this game, this environment for the first time?
I think they'll be fine. I really do. I mean, 12 games is it's a long. They've already had a whole season really under their belt. So I don't really see them as freshmen anymore. I really don't. I think they'll be okay.
Is your offensive line a liability in a game like this, you think?
a liability.
Yeah, I mean, they're still got some.
Well, I wouldn't say they're a liability. I think they'll have a great challenge, but I would say they're a liability. We'd definitely be in trouble. So I think they're going to know what to do, and I think they're going to play really hard.
Have you seen a lot lately that shows that they've improved and there wouldn't be a repeat of the South Carolina game?
Well, I don't even remember what happened in the South Carolina game, but I know we had some edge issues. You know, I think everybody had trouble with Jadeveon Clowney, don't you? And that other cat, I forgot 98, that big tall joker. Taylor. I think everybody's had trouble with those guys. But you know, we're probably a little better at blocking now than we were then. You know, Theus, you know, is getting there. I mean, he's got a ways to go, but he's getting there.
Coach,
So I think we'll be all right.
You had kind of a wet night last night, kind of a cold night tonight.
Right.
Does that hinder anything when you're going to play in a dry indoor environment?
Ideally, it'd be it'd be nice to have an indoor thing to practice in and crank the heat up a little bit. Try to get us close to what it would be in the game, but we don't have that right now.
Getting back to what you were just talking about, what you were just talking about staying in the moment. I mean, could you kind of envision that some of the younger guys might need to be reminded a couple more times?
Well, that's what I do. That's what I do every day. That's what I do every day. Remind them. But can't control them really. You can only advise them.
Will your freshman kickers go out there on Friday and do anything when you have?
You know, it's a great question, and it's one that I'm thinking we might do. I was going to talk to Brad Hutcherson, our director of football ops, about the possibility of all of our specialists getting in there a little bit early. And I think that's one thing would be worth doing. I don't think it's going to be worth trying to, go in there and run routes and throw the ball around and all that, because we just don't do that on Friday anyway. But if those guys think that would benefit them and we can do it logistically, we might do that.
How do you feel about a freshman like Marshall going in there in an environment like this?
Well, you know what, I think if he focuses on his fundamentals and can block everything out, which is what outstanding kickers do, and I don't think you have to be a junior or senior in college to be able to do that. I think you can do that as a freshman. I think you can do that in high school if you're disciplined enough to. So I think if those guys just really focus hard on just their job and what they need to do, it's relatively simple, but it's simple. It seems simple, but I know that it's not that simple when you're the guy trying to do it. But just like golfing, you think if you can just do it the same swing every time, what's the big deal? I mean, it's hard to do. So, but I think that's all they got to do. And I think both of our young kickers have improved. Our kicker and punter has improved as the season gone on. I think they're gaining more confidence. So I think they realize. I think they're kind of over the big eyes and being nervous and all that kind of thing. I think they're used to it now.
Your team has thrived in the third quarter this season. Alabama struggled a little bit there. What's the key to coming out of the locker room at halftime?
Well, you hope you have a good plan coming out. That's one thing, but you're probably just talking about points scored in the third quarter. If I'm not mistaken, I think we've deferred a lot. We've won the coin toss a lot. We've deferred a lot, so we probably have one more drive than other people maybe have. I know I was looking at Alabama's coin toss stuff, and they have taken the ball first quite a few times. So that means the opponent has the ball first in the third quarter. So it may be just as simple as the number of possessions in that quarter. One team compared to the other.
Do you think your receiving core without Bennett and Brown has been tested enough in these last 4 games, whatever?
Well, I mean, they're going to be tested, even if Marlon and Michael Bennett were here. They'll all be tested. It's an outstanding secondary. Got a good scheme, and they do a good job of making your quarterback throw it sooner than he wants to. I mean, it's more than just guys that can cover. It's guys that can It's defenders that can put pressure on your passer. So I think it's definitely gonna be a challenge. And I mean, I don't know if we're gonna be good enough or not. We'll just have to see.
When you go into an environment like that, you know you're going to have tight coverage, just kind of the way they play, and as good as their cornerbacks are. What's the instruction to a quarterback? I mean, you got to tell them to cut loose and not worry about it, or you got to be more cautious.
No, I don't think you got to be more cautious. I think you have to. There's still certain guys that are getting doubled, or certain guys that are getting help. Defenders, I'm talking about. There's some two deep stuff. There's some one high safety stuff. Sometimes they'll play man-to-man coverage with a free safety who's free deep in the middle, and then a low, we call him a low hole player or a robber or whatever. He's free. So you got to know we got to know where those guys are. And some routes that we run, you break in, and if there's outside leverage, you'd like to be able to throw it to those guys. If there's some routes that you're breaking out, and sometimes they've got inside leverage where you'd rather throw it, try to beat that type of coverage. So you got to be able to recognize, what you're dealing with, and go to the right guy. But you got to throw it. I mean, that tight coverage is just the reality of this game, and a lot of our college games. And definitely in the NFL, it gets even tighter.
We know.
Back to Swan, he's really had a breakout season here. Can you talk about how he's become one of your more effective defensive backs?
Swan's very talented, got great ball skills. I mentioned it the other day that he did a really good job of getting in the weight room this offseason. He's stronger now. He can support the run better. He's made some really good acrobatic picks, and he's very agile. He's a tall kid. He's long. He's what you're looking for.
How close did you follow his high school baseball career? And what were your initial?
Well, I knew he was very good at baseball, and I knew baseball was important to him, and we were willing to work with him on that. I think not that he's lost the desire to do it, but I think he understands how hard it is to play both sports, and he's really getting good at football. So I think he's enjoying that.
What have you seen from Aaron these last 3 days of preparation and everything? Is he anything
Good.
different about the way he's going about the business?
Well, I know he's here a lot. I know he's here studying a lot. And he was very sharp today, very sharp in pass skeleton, very sharp at 11 on 11, where there is tighter coverage. I mean, because you could, if you just practice against a scout team only, it's hard for them to simulate tight coverage. But when you go against our defense and you go against, you try to play more at a game speed and that tight coverage, and you got to be more precise, and your timing's got to be good. Excuse me. He just looked really good at the end of practice.
You typically, before each game, say a word or two to him before he takes the field?
Not always. I just know he's in good hands with Mike, and there's certain times I might say a little something to just remind him that you don't have to make a big play every time the ball is snapped. Just remind him that punts are okay every once in a while, and you'd like to have an extra point field goal or a punt after every series. Just protect the ball, be wise. If I see a little something here and there, I may try to interject something, but I'm very careful not to say too much to him because I don't want to confuse him. I don't want to say one thing when Coach Bobo said something else, or maybe he said the same thing a different way. So I don't want to confuse the issue. I've coached QBs long enough to know that if too many guys is in your quarterback's ear, you can confuse him. So I don't talk a whole lot about strategy things or just reads and progressions and all that because I want to leave that to Mike. I want one voice there to keep it.
Just kind of wonder if you might say something just to kind of help him relax before this game gets underway.
I don't know. I don't know if I'll need to or not, but I'm always try to encourage him and all the guys really. So it wouldn't be that unusual.
Is your staff gonna have any energy left to go recruiting next week? You think?
Oh, I think so. Yeah, they'll be ready to recruit. We've got a lot of guys to go see. It's gonna be a large class, as we know, and a lot of the class has been decided on. So we will actually be doing a lot of scoping out of the next year's class as well.
Time for one more. emotions for you personally any different right now than any game?
Right this minute, it's not, you know, I'm trying to practice what I'm telling the players to do, and that's just focus on my job, focus on the things that I need to do, just thinking about certain situations that could come up, you know, what are we gonna do if this happens, what are we gonna do if that happens? You know, kind of like that old Bobby Bowden, Coach Bowden iffy meeting he used to call it, you know, if this happens, what are we gonna do, if that happens, what are we gonna do? And so, you know, you wanna be thinking about certain situations that might come up and try to make a decision midweek before you start feeling all the emotion of the game. So if that situation does come up, you've got a plan for it, you're ready for it. So I'm just trying to think through anything that could possibly happen that we haven't covered, or there's certain things you just can't cover every single week. And like we don't practice overtime every week. We don't practice certain things. Like we don't always practice our 2-point plays against the defense. We do it against the scout team, but you know, there's just certain things that I want to make sure that if a situation comes up, it won't catch us off guard. And, you know, no matter how hard you try, there's always something that may come up that you just weren't ready for. But you know, you just hope and pray you prepared the best you can.
Thank you.